Her name was Tabitha Tanner. Bold, thoughtful, fierce, and now gone. On July 8, 2022, her body was found in an alley on Chicago's North Side. No clothes, no ID, no chance. The news reported she fell from a fifth-floor window. But let's be clear, she didn't fall. She was thrown by a man she trusted, a man who lied to her face, invited her into his bed, and killed her to cover his tracks. His name is Tyson Tillman, an 8-time convicted felon. When his pregnant girlfriend came home and found another woman in their bed, Tyson didn't run. He didn't explain. He didn't own up to anything. He picked Tabitha up and ended her life. This is not a story about infidelity or social media posts. This is a story about control, shame, and how some men would rather kill than face their own lies. It's about how a woman's confidence became someone else's excuse for murder. Tabitha Tanner's life was worth more than a secret, and her story demands to be told. Tabitha Tanner was born on December 6, 1988, in Chicago, Illinois, raised on the South Side. She grew up in a world that wasn't always kind to girls like her, black, bold, and unafraid. Her mother, Antoinette Tanner, was a rock of her life, providing love and stability. Her stepfather, Ben W.L., stepped up early and held the family together. But the absence of her biological father, Larry Jackson, who died when she was young, left a mark. Growing up, Tabitha faced systemic challenges rooted in race, class, and gender. Schools were underfunded, neighborhoods overpoliced, opportunities limited. But that didn't stop her. She excelled academically, particularly in English and debate. Her voice, even as a teenager, carried weight. She challenged teachers. She stood up for classmates. She knew who she was. She graduated from Lindblom Math and Science Academy and earned a scholarship to Northeastern Illinois University. There, she studied early childhood education and social work, combining her academic path with her passion for advocacy. She didn't just learn. She applied what she knew to real-world issues: food insecurity, housing injustice, mental health. While at university, Tabitha became involved in campus activism. She participated in protests against police brutality, organized mental health awareness weeks, and worked part-time with at-risk youth. Her professors describe her as a student who brought the streets and the classroom together. But education didn't shield her from life's realities. At 22, she became a mother to a daughter named Aaliyah. Balancing classes, jobs, and single motherhood was a challenge. But Tabitha didn't flinch. She built her support system, leaned on her mother and friends, and never lost sight of her goals. She took pride in her appearance, but defied every stereotype. While society tried to box her in, she burst through those boxes with heels on and lashes fluttering. She was a paradox, soft and strong, sensual and intellectual, vulnerable and invincible. She documented her journey online, speaking about self-love, trauma, and healing. Her Instagram lives were sermons. Her kitchen table conversations were therapy sessions. She launched her business, Rooted Radiance, in 2017. It started small: shea butter, sugar scrubs, oils, but it grew because it wasn't just about products. It was about reclaiming identity and healing through care. She held pop-up events at community centers and collaborated with doulas, midwives, and therapists. She wanted Black women to feel seen, heard, and whole. Her daughter Aaliyah was the center of her universe. She raised her to be outspoken, proud, and curious. Tabitha kept a journal for her: letters, affirmations, memories. In one entry, she wrote, "If the world ever tries to silence you, scream louder. You come from fire. You are fire. But fire attracts those who wish to extinguish it." In 2022, she met Tyson Tillman. Tyson wasn't remarkable on the surface. He was older, reserved, and appeared stable. A man who claimed to be turning his life around. Tabitha met him at a friend's backyard gathering, and their conversations were engaging. He asked about her business. He listened, or so it seemed. They dated casually. He kept things vague, never introduced her friends or family. Tabitha, busy with work and motherhood, didn't push, but she felt a connection. They shared playlists, late-night texts, inside jokes. But what she didn't know was that Tyson was living a double life. Tyson had a live-in girlfriend, 6 months pregnant. He hid it well, no photos, no slips. And when the girlfriend left town for a few days in early July, he invited Tabitha over. She accepted. July 7th, 2022. Tabitha arrived at the North Magnolia Avenue apartment around 10:09 p.m. Surveillance footage shows her entering confidently. A few minutes later, a neighbor heard music and laughter. By all accounts, it was a normal night, until it wasn't. At 10:47 p.m., the girlfriend returned early. The door was locked. Her key didn't work. She called, knocked, waited. Inside, Tyson panicked. We don't know exactly what happened, but we do know this. At 10:59 p.m., Tabitha fell from the 5th floor window. She landed in the alley below, naked, lifeless. Surveillance footage shows Tyson looking down, expressionless. He didn't call for help. He didn't cry. He went back upstairs. The hours that followed were agonizing. For 7 hours, Tabitha lay in the alley. The city moved around her. The stars shifted. No sirens, no rescue. At 6:11 a.m., someone finally found her. Police investigated. The autopsy confirmed blunt force trauma, internal bleeding, and a fatal heart laceration. Tyson was arrested on July 10th after jail phone recording captured him saying, "I threw the babe out the window." Despite overwhelming evidence, Tyson remains in custody, awaiting trial as of 2025. 3 years. No closure. Tabitha's community responded with outrage and grief. Vigils were held. Murals painted. Her Instagram became a memorial. Friends posted videos, reading her quotes aloud. Her mother, Anna, had become a reluctant activist, speaking at rallies, pushing for faster trials in murder cases. She says, "My daughter gave everything to this world. The least it can do is give her justice." Edna has testified before the city council, met with prosecutors, and started the Firelight Foundation to provide legal and emotional support to other mothers who have lost children to gender-based violence. Her daughter, Aaliyah, now a teenager, wears a necklace with her mother's initials. She started a school club for girls of color to discuss identity, healing, and advocacy. "My mom was a warrior," she says. "She still fights through me." Tabitha's story is about more than fall. It's about how women who shine are too often dimmed by violence. It's about systems that stall. It's about voices that echo long after they're gone. We remember her not just for how she died, but for how she lived, unapologetically. Her name is now etched into the sidewalk near the alley where she fell, a small memorial placed there by her friends. Flowers, candles, photos, they remain fresh. A local filmmaker has begun producing a documentary titled Fireproof, the life and loss of Tabitha Tanner, set to release next year, amplifying a message that Tabitha's life must not fade from public consciousness. But the fight for Tabitha didn't stop at the funeral. Over the next year, the Firelight Foundation gained traction, receiving local grants and partnering with other organizations in Chicago's South and West Sides. They launched an annual Tabitha Tanner Women's Justice Summit, hosting panels on intimate partner violence, self-empowerment, and legal advocacy. Hundreds of women attended, including survivors who'd never spoken their truths until that day. In that same spirit, Aaliyah began writing. First poetry, then essays, then speeches. Her piece, "My Mom, the Voice," went viral after she read it at a school assembly. Her final line was quoted everywhere. "They tried to silence her with gravity, but she still rises in me." The summit helped push Illinois lawmakers to draft Tabitha's Law, a proposed bill that would require faster investigation timelines in fatal domestic violence cases and fund survivor housing initiatives. The bill hasn't passed yet, but the pressure continues to mount. Meanwhile, Tabitha's social media accounts have become digital shrines. People leave comments daily, testimonies, prayers, art, and grief. A campaign called #ShineForTabitha emerged on TikTok and Instagram, encouraging women to share stories of resilience in her honor. Her voice echoes in new generations, her energy reshaping conversations around Black womanhood, safety, and justice. At a 2024 community mural unveiling on 63rd Street, a block-long painting depicted Tabitha as a phoenix, wings outstretched over a crowd of young women, each holding a light. Underneath were the words, "Say her name, live her light." The artist, a local muralist named Rashida Boyd, said, "This isn't just about her death. It's about her fire. We're all carrying a piece of it now." Inside City Hall, however, the justice system trudges slowly. Tyson Tillman's pre-trial motions drag on. Delays pile up. Evidence reviews. Defense continuances. COVID backlogs. His lawyer argues for mental instability. The prosecution counters with clear motive and premeditation. The courtroom has seen half a dozen dates reset. Each one is a blade turning in Annette's gut. "I wake up every day to a calendar with no answers," she told the Chicago Tribune. "My daughter's story is trapped in limbo while the man who ended her life gets to breathe, eat, sleep, and wait." But the waiting has not dulled their fight. Tabitha's community has grown more organized, more relentless. Local pastors preach about her. Teachers use her life to teach about civic action. Journalists continue reporting on her case in a series titled Justice Deferred. Advocacy groups now monitor court delays as a systemic issue, and Tabitha's name appears in every one of their reports. Tabitha's presence lives on in unexpected places. A scholarship fund launched and her name supports black girls entering college to study education and public health. A wellness center in Bronzeville carries her image in its logo. A song written by a Chicago spoken word collective samples her own voice from a Facebook Live. Her daughter Aaliyah has said she wants to one day run for city council. "If the laws didn't protect my mom, maybe I can write better ones," she told a room full of women at the second annual summit. Tabitha Tanner's story didn't end in an alley. It expanded into policy, into art, into other people's courage. She taught, she fought, she lit fires, and now that light burns in thousands. In late 2025, a group of community activists and local politicians collaborated to rename a stretch of North Magnolia Avenue to Tabitha Tanner Way. At the dedication ceremony, dozens gathered, some in tears, some in applause, as a new street sign was unveiled. Her mother spoke. "Now, even the city will remember." Documentary producers released a trailer for Fireproof during Black History Month. It opened with Tabitha's own voice. "They can talk about me, but they better talk to me right." Her laugh followed, soft, steady, resilient. Plans are underway for a permanent exhibit at the DuSable Black History Museum, featuring her journals, business materials, social media excerpts, and the timeline of her case. Visitors will walk through rooms designed to evoke Tabitha's life, her kitchen, her Instagram feed, her activism. We keep her name alive not because of how she died, but because of how she lived, and how we are choosing to live in her name. Her name was, and will always be, Tabitha Tanner. Say her name, light her fire, demand her justice,